Part 77. Her Majesty the Queen has become a god in the entertainment industry. Author, Press 11. Chapter 761. Chapter 761. The truth hurts the most. After learning that Zhang Lingzi had guests, Suyin restrained herself from coming over to have dinner with her grandniece even though she wanted to. Tongyu asked one more question when she stayed to eat. I think the yard next to you seems to be occupied. She remembered that the courtyard was closed during her previous visits. My grandpa and grandma live here. The green dumplings you just ate were made by my grandma. How is it? It tastes good, right? Well, it's really delicious. It's sweet but not greasy. It's much better than what you buy in the supermarket. Zhang Lingzi also thought about whether to invite her little grandma over to have dinner with her. However, compared to her little grandma, Tongyu was a complete stranger, and after getting along for a long time, most people could still clearly feel that her little grandma was a little different from ordinary people. Too much the same. Think about it or give it up. After lunch, Tongyu stood up and left neatly. Then you can read the script and have a good rest these days. The day before you join the group, I will ask Tongyu and Yao Yao to come over and pack your luggage. Is there anything else that needs to be packed at your other residence? Pack out some clothes over there that you will wear in March and April. You don't need to come over here to pack them up. You can just come and pick me up on the day you join the group. Tongyu suddenly showed a clear expression. I almost forgot, you have someone to clean up here, and it's not Zheng Zheng and Yao Yao's turn yet. Zhang Lingzi, it's good to know. After seeing Tongyu off, Zhang Lingzi wandered around the garden again. Not only did the wind pick up last night, it probably also rained heavily. Many flowers that bloomed in early spring were knocked to the ground. As she walked, she picked up a few that were relatively intact and clean and brought them back to the house. She found 2 vases and put them in them. She was about to place them on the side table by the window when a smiling face peeked out of the window. Zixi, you are arranging flowers. Well, I picked up the flowers in the yard outside, Grandma. Do you want them? Yes, Zixi's arrangement is really beautiful. The rain knocked all the flowers away. Zhang Lingzi invited Suyin in and let her choose. She picked up a script at random, sat down on the couch next to her, and started to read the script. After picking out the flowers, Suyin turned around and looked at Zhang Lingzi, who was quietly reading the script. She quietly walked to the recliner on the other side and sat down. She took out a ball of wool and a crochet hook from her pocket and began to quietly do handwork. I came over during the summer solstice, lit a stick of incense to make the air warmer and drier, brought some tea and snacks, and quietly left. Time becomes tranquil and soothing in the silence. Chen Qiun on the other side was almost furious. She really has no good intentions. You, please be more careful in the future. Really, you are just like a silly elder sister. There is no real sisterhood in this entertainment industry. You are the only one who is stupid enough to believe this. Chen Qiun's mouth twitched twice, unable to refute. Although the half bottle of aromatherapy that was sent to the perfumer for inspection did not find any harmful ingredients to the human body and even had a strong sleep-promoting effect, it was not suitable for use during closed training. Originally, training during the day required both physical strength and mental exertion, which was tiring enough. She basically fell asleep as soon as she put her head on the pillow when she returned to the dormitory. Coupled with the aromatherapy to help her sleep, it was surprising that she could wake up in the morning. She originally thought that the reason why she couldn't wake her up several times with the alarm clock was because she was too tired and slept too deeply. She never expected that the culprit was the small bottle of aromatherapy that Sulinor gave her. She still remembered that Sulinor specifically asked Zhang Lingzi if she had used the incense she gave her. At that time, she thought that Sulinor just wanted to know if the other party liked the gift she gave her. But now it seemed that she had sinister intentions. As for why Sulinor did this, or why, She had already experienced how embarrassing it was to be late for the first day of formal training in front of so many people. What's even more disgusting is that Sulinur acted like a good person even though she knew the reason. After that time, she did become much closer to Sulinur. Thinking about it now, I just feel sick. Okay, seeing that her expression was getting more and more ugly, the manager didn't dare to say anything more serious. I'll just take it as a lesson this time. Besides, Sulinur, didn't get it for all her hard work and calculations. What's the point? This plan was all in vain? Doesn't it make you feel better? Chen Qiun wiped his face and nodded. I'm really not that stunned anymore. Brother Fang, are there any other announcements recently? I've been delayed for more than a month. Please arrange some work for me quickly. When you are busy, you don't have time to be angry with others or think about other things. Recently, I haven't found a suitable script yet, but there is a variety show Survival that you can go to. It is now in its third season, and the audience's adhesion is quite good. But there is one thing, the entire show was broadcast live, and in the first season, a guest accidentally lost his character. Many actors were quite worried about this. Why do I feel that the name of this variety show is a bit familiar? Do you still remember the information about Zhang Lingzi that you saw before? She participated in the first season of Survival and became famous through this show. But she probably won't go in the third season. With the current popularity, I guess I can't even pick out any scripts, so there's no need to participate in such a small variety show anymore. Chen Qiun couldn't help but look up at his agent. Although this is all quite true, it is so heart-wrenching to hear. Taking a deep breath and nodding seriously, go, after all, I have been training for a month. If you run every day to improve your physical fitness, you can't waste so much effort in vain. Okay, I'll contact the survival program team right now. Asterisk. In one afternoon, Suyin used wool to draw out a pink hibiscus flower, and Zhang Lingzi also finished reading the 2 scripts Tong Yu gave her. Taking the woolen hibiscus flower from Suyin, I admired it and drank tea while quietly reflecting on it. There is no doubt about the quality and production team of the script that Xiao Yifeng liked and sent to her. The 2 scripts are indeed wonderful and each has its own merits. A character who is both the confidant of the male protagonist and the big boss behind the scenes. The character is quite complex. To use an adjective commonly used by Lu Zhengzheng, it is very touching. As for the first and second female characters in another Xiangxia script, if the first female character is kind, beautiful, upright and fearless, then the second female character is the opposite. Born at the bottom, he will do whatever it takes to become stronger. Of course, he died a miserable death in the end. However, compared to the first female lead, she does prefer the role of the second female lead, and it will be more enjoyable to play it. Zixi, Yunqing is back. Zhang Lingzi retracted her thoughts and turned around to see drizzle falling outside the window again. Shen Yunqing was holding a bamboo bone oil paper umbrella and came through the rain. Her Majesty the Queen has become a god in the entertainment industry. Author, Press 11. Chapter 762. Chapter 762 Zhang Wenhui is Yueshan's new vice president. Zhang Wenjia, who received the summons from her biological father, and her husband Lu Sui stood at the door of the ward. From the bottom of my heart, I just didn't dare to open the door in front of me. The company is still in the process of closure and consolidation, and she has lost count of how many resignation letters she has signed during this period. How can we keep companies and factories running when all the people are gone? No matter how slow she was, she had a hunch in her heart that Yu Heng might really not be able to hold on this time. Last time the blacklist came out and it was found on her, she was severely scolded by her very angry father. This ward is no different to her now than a dragon's pool or a tiger's den. I still don't know why her father called her here again this time. Could it be that he wants to scold her again to vent his anger? Feeling frightened, Zhang Wenjie simply pushed her husband forward. You go in first. Lu Sui. Good things don't happen to him, but bad things happen to him when he thinks about it. Step forward and open the door. Dad, Jia and I are here to see you. If I hadn't called you, could you have come? I wish I had died here. Lu Sui forced a smile and said, Dad, what are you talking about? There have been a lot of troubles in the company recently, and Jia and I are busy dealing with them. Huh, you didn't bring this on yourselves. Zhang Wenjie walked behind her husband and carefully poked her head out. When she saw her biological father lying on the hospital bed clearly, her eyes widened in shock. Dad, what are you doing? She swallowed back the words I suddenly became so old with all her strength. No one likes to be called old, especially her father who usually prides himself on being strong when he is old. But looking at her biological father, whom she hadn't seen for just half a month, his hair had turned completely white, his face was extremely saggy, and his eyes were a lot cloudier. Zhang Wenjie moved her mouth, but she didn't know what to say. Zhang Peng did not scold his second daughter and second son-in-law again, mainly because he had to have the strength to do so. After a while, he pointed to the sofa in a hoarse voice, Sit. The couple sat down with some trepidation. After all, with the old man's appearance, they were really afraid that they would accidentally say something wrong and make people angry. Dad, you came to us this time. Do you have something to tell us? Someone wants to acquire Yuz Hung. Zhang Wenjie suddenly jumped up from the sofa. Are you going to sell Yuz Hung? Otherwise, even if your company can get kickbacks on purchases, can you save Yuz Hung? Zhang Wenjie suddenly silenced. Here, isn't there you? Then I have to be able to stand up and have the energy. Lu Sui tugged on his wife's arm and said, Dad, who is still willing to acquire Yuz Hung at this juncture? The current Yuz Hung situation is quite a mess. It's a new company called Yinsheng. It has relatively strong financial resources. It's probably a newborn calf that's not afraid of tigers. Yinsheng, Zhang Wenjie murmured and repeated. He felt that the two words were a bit familiar, but he couldn't think of them for a while. I heard it somewhere. Dad, you sold Yuz Hung. What should we do? What should we do, Mom? Haven't you and your wife earned enough benefits from the company over the years? Don't even think about taking the money from selling Yuz Hung. I have already contacted a high-end nursing home. I will move to the nursing home when the purchase money for Yuz Hung arrives. As for your mother, I will leave a sum of money for her to support herself in her old age. If she accidentally spends all of it, I will still have you too. I won't need you to provide for her in her old age. You will only be responsible for your mother. Zhang Wenjie. Although she has known her father's cold nature since she was a child, this is the first time she has experienced this coldness falling on her. Similarly, back then, I was able to make my wife angry and cut off the relationship with my biological daughter for more than 20 years. Now I am naturally able to spend money only on myself and not let my daughter take advantage of her. Then you called us here this time, just to inform us that Yuz Hung will be acquired soon, and we don't need to worry about Yuz Hung. Yes, I have entrusted an agent to contact Yinsheng. You two no longer have to go to the company to work around every day. You have this time to think about what you will do in the future. You are still young. Zhang Wenjie laughed twice and interrupted him, her eyes turning red with laughter. Then Su Hui and I will go back first. After all, thanks to you, we have to find a job again at such an old age. I also wish you can sell Yuz Hung at a good price. The door of the ward was slammed shut. Zhang Peng lay on the hospital bed and took a few quick breaths. He coughed and cursed, rebellious girl. Both parties made up their minds to buy and sell as soon as possible. After all, companies are like this. The longer it is delayed, the less valuable it becomes, so the acquisition process goes faster than ever. Zhang Peng only felt distressed for a moment after the acquisition money arrived, and he took the time to contact the high-end nursing home that he had made an appointment with, preparing to move to the nursing home and rely on the money from selling the company to enjoy his retirement. Zhang Wenjie and Lu Sui, who were staying at home, also learned about the change of ownership of Yu's Hung through some contacts who were still in the company. While they were not reconciled to not getting a penny, they couldn't help but inquire about Yu Eshen's new owner. They are the most familiar with Yu's Hung. If the new boss is generous and allows them to go back to work, they might have a chance to take the company back. Another unspeakable reason is that when major companies are recruiting people, the age limit is a bit strict, but the age limit is not so strict, and they don't look at the salary. As for starting a business from scratch, they cannot bear the hardship. After much deliberation, it turns out that returning to Yu's Hung is the best way to go. We haven't met the new boss yet, but today the vice president came over. It's a coincidence that you and our new vice president have similar names. Those who didn't know would have thought they were sisters. Zhang Wenjie suddenly had a bad premonition. What's the name of your new vice president? Zhang Wenhui, how are you? They look alike, don't they? She looks quite gentle, but she is very vigorous in her work. When she first came here, there were a group of people who just stayed in the company and did nothing. It seems that I will have to tighten my belt in the future. Zhang Wenjie could no longer hear the rest of the words, her head was pounding, and the words Zhang Wenhui were all in her ears. Lu Sui went to the kitchen to pour a glass of water and came back. He saw his wife sitting stiffly on the sofa as if she had lost her soul. He quickly put down the glass and reached out to shake her shoulder. Wenjie, Wenjie. Only then did Zhang Wenjie's eyes focus, regardless of whether the phone was hung up or not. Sui, the new vice president of Yu's Hung is Zhang Wenhui. It's Zhang Wenhui. How could it be Zhang Wenhui? How could it be Zhang Wenhui? She has been in the company for so many years, and she has only been able to get to the position of director of the purchasing department at most. What does Zhang Wenhui know? She is actually the vice president all of a sudden. How could she be willing to do this? She was so jealous that her heart was about to burn to ashes. Lu Sui was also surprised, since Zhang Wenhui is the vice president, then the chairman. Yin Sheng, I remembered it. Zhang Wenjie suddenly realized, my uncle's name is Zhang Sishan, and my crazy aunt's name is Su Yin. If the last characters of their names are put together, they are not the same as Yin Sheng. Ha ha ha, I didn't even remember it until now. No, I have to tell my dad the good news. His Yu's Hung was bought at a low price by his brother. His eldest daughter, whom he cut off from, is now the vice president of Yu's Hung. My dad, I'm definitely happy to hear that, haha. Lu Sui looked at his wife, who looked almost crazy, and subconsciously took a step back. Father-in-law might be furious when he hears this news, right? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Her Majesty the Queen has become a god in the entertainment industry. Author, Press 11. Chapter 763. Chapter 763, A Dynamic Influence. This call was never made. Although Zhang Wenjie was going crazy with jealousy and just wanted to ignore it, Lu Sui still retained his sense. If you really accidentally make people angry, how can they behave as a couple if outsiders find out? There is also their daughter, whose mother is so angry with her grandfather that if her classmates at school find out, there will be no need for her to go to school. Calm down, calm down. Wenjie, calm down, think about our girl. The phone was taken away, and when he heard his daughter again, Zhang Wenjie paused in taking the phone, and finally calmed down. Lu Sui breathed a sigh of relief. Although our family is indeed a little bit dirty with your eldest sister, it was your father who broke off the relationship with your sister when you were still young. And your brother-in-law is your biological uncle after all. Zhang Wenjie shook her head before he finished speaking and sneered, Don't think about it, there's no way my uncle will accept us. She really didn't know how much grudge their family had against her uncle before, but since she went to see her mother, she knew that after committing such a big death, it would be strange that her uncle didn't hate them to death. Perhaps my brother-in-law's purchase of Yu's Hung this time is to avenge him for being forced to leave his hometown. Hand on, Yu's Hung was suddenly investigated before, from finances to raw materials and products. It seemed that it happened after she went to Moken to find her uncle but failed. Just one step at a time, they watched them fall into the abyss, and in the end they were all in vain. In the future, she can only watch Yu's Hung make a comeback, watch the people she once looked down on sit at a height that she can never reach, and she can only covet and get nothing. Zhang Wenjie was so frightened by her own association that she crossed her arms and shuddered. It would be terrible if these were all my uncle's tricks. This kind of punishment is definitely more torturous than any other punishment. Lu Sui didn't know what his wife was thinking of. He could only watch her expression become more and more frightened, and she almost hugged herself into a ball. Wenjie. It's over, it's really over now. Asterisk. Zhang Lingzi didn't know that what she and Shen Yunqing did secretly was also blamed on her little grandpa by Zhang Wenjie, but if it could deepen the other party's fear, that wouldn't be bad. It saves some people from having nothing to do at home and still being evil. What surprised her a little was that Yueshan's new legal representative was not grandpa, but grandma. Zhang Sishan handed over the packaged product, looked at her grandniece with a little surprise, and explained with a smile, "It's a little selfish of mine. Back then, I wanted to marry your grandma, but your great-grandfather opposed it. Yin yin, because I have suffered a lot, now I can only compensate with Yu's Hung." Zhang Lingzi nodded and did not ask further. She was just a little surprised and had no interest in uncovering the scars of the past. How is Zixi going to advertise this product? My agent gave me a method. I will try it tonight. It should have some effect. Grandpa, be prepared. Zhang Sishan nodded with a smile, okay, I'll wait and see. That night, many people who followed the account Zhang Lingzi finally received a new update from the owner after more than a month of absence. Zhang Lingzi v. Clockwork News. Attached is a casual photo. As soon as the post was posted, likes and comments poured in instantly. Due to the popularity of Empress Yuan Zhao, her account has gained a lot of fans recently, and it has now exceeded the 30 million mark. From April last year to early March, it took nearly a year to go from a mere million fans to more than 30 million fans now. The number of fans has increased rapidly. The key point here is that most of them are still fans, and there are also many black fans. The two are collectively called live fans. With the influx of active fans, the number of likes and comments on the latest post has soared, which is definitely a level that can make many colleagues envy and hate. Click to open the comment area. In addition to being cute or coquettish, you can also complain. Your Majesty finally remembered us fans who are waiting for food. Other idols' accounts are busy every day, but His Majesty's account is full of grass before I think of pulling it out. It's not the most perfunctory, only more perfunctory. You can at least say a few more words when you post a post, just, when you post a post, do you need to say it specifically? At least it's just a picture without any punctuation marks. I'm probably used to the CPU, haha. I think this picture was taken casually, not even a finger was exposed, let alone the face. Is this Your Majesty's dressing table? It looks antique. There are so few skincare products. It seems that Your Majesty is also an advocate of streamlined skincare, just like me hehe. I habitually took screenshots and searched on maimai.com, only to find that several bottles and cans had no labels. They should be privately customized. There were two more that were a bit blurry and should be domestic brands. The only one that was closest to me was that I could clearly see the label. This is a newly opened store. Can you believe that this is the only product in the store? I'll go check it out if it's true or not. Looking at the introduction, it is for lightening spots and removing scars. Is it useful for your Majesty? Is it a new endorsement? But this is too shabby, right? Looking at the price, it's not expensive either. It's much cheaper than other similar products I bought. Let's take a trial sample first. Finally, wait until His Majesty has a reasonably down-to-earth endorsement, and that's it. Over time, the newly launched online store of the Yin brand was almost overwhelmed by the large number of fans attracted at night. Zhang Xishan was just about to take his wife to bed when he received a call from the person in charge of the company's online sales department. "Mr. Zhang, we're sold out." Zhang Xishan. He instantly thought of what his great niece had told him during dinner to try out an advertisement and asked him to be prepared. "I thought that the current inventory was not too small, but it turned out that it was already out of stock." Rao already knew that his grandniece was now a popular star, but it was not until now that he really felt how powerful this influence was. Let the workshop continue to work overtime and adjust from 2 shifts to 3 shifts, but we cannot let go of quality control to ensure that all products that reach customers are qualified. The great niece is working hard in the front, and he can't let go at the critical moment. After Zhang Lingzi finished posting the post, she scrolled through the comments below. After confirming that the method Tong Yu taught her was effective, she put down her phone and went to rest. As for how the little grandpa should deal with the inquiries and orders from the big guys, the professional things should be done by professionals. Anyway, she has opened ahead. The other side. Lu Sui was about to turn off the light when he saw his wife lying on the bed holding up a mobile phone, her eyes staring straight at the screen, as wide as a bell. "What are you looking at to keep you awake?" Zhang Wenjie said expressionlessly, "Look at my good niece." Zhang Lingzi. Lu Sui lay down and glanced at the screen of her mobile phone. "What is this? Didn't you just post an update? Look at this skincare product, Yin, Su Yin's Yin, my brother-in-law is really affectionate." And Zhang Lingzi, who didn't help before, now turns around to advertise for Yin Sheng. Zhang Wenjie laughed at herself. Smiling, "I think about how much effort I put into making my face freeze in front of Zhang Wenhui. It's really a joke. Why do you keep looking at it when it's blocking your heart? Who told me to follow her before?" When the phone prompted me, I subconsciously clicked on her. She also knew it was best to close this post as soon as possible. But her eyes and hands were stunned because they were not cooperating. The more she became distracted, the more she wanted to watch. She was about to explode now. Her Majesty the Queen has become a god in the entertainment industry. Author, Press 11. Chapter 764. Chapter 764. Zhang Peng was angry and suffered a stroke, but Zhang Wenhui was forced to do so. In the morning, you can hear the crisp chirping of birds in the nursing home. Zhang Wenjie was sitting in the waiting room, facing the large glass window. Out of the glass window is a large artificial green lake. The park beside the lake is also within the scope of the sanatorium. The sounds of various birds can be heard from the park. With such a good environment, let alone an old person, she would like to live in it and have people taking care of her food, clothing, housing, and transportation. However, with the assets she and Lu Sui currently have on hand, if they can't make money and can only rest on their laurels, then it will be a dream to move in when they get older. At a price of nearly 100,000 yuan a month, you can really enjoy it. Are you Mr. Jiang's family? Mr. Jiang has already gotten up and is preparing to have breakfast. Please come with me. I am. Zhang Wenjie stood up and followed the staff in decent work clothes to the door of a courtyard-style suite. Through the huge floor-to-ceiling glass, you can see the old man sitting in the wheelchair inside. He is having breakfast face-to-face with a rich and graceful old lady with silver hair. Who is that? Didn't you say that all your nursing homes are single-family homes? There are also mixed housing ones. Oh, that's Mrs. Lin who lives next door. Mr. Zhang and Mrs. Lin get along very well during this period, and they usually meet to have meals together. This way, the old lady will have a better appetite than eating alone. Zhang Wenjie couldn't laugh at all. Her mother is not dead yet. This old guy has only been in a nursing home for a few days, and he's already hooking up with another old lady. Maybe the money on hand will be used to buy this and that for other old ladies. It just won't get into the hands of my own daughter. Thinking of this, she pushed aside the staff who was about to ring the doorbell, pushed open the unlocked glass sliding door, and strode in. "Dad, it's time to have breakfast." "What are you yelling about?" "I'm not deaf. I didn't have breakfast, so I sat down and ate some. After finishing the meal, I went to the living room to wait. By the way, this is your Aunt Lin, calling someone." Zhang Wenjie just pretended not to hear, looked down at the breakfast on the table in front of the two of them, and clenched her back molars again. A cordyceps soup, a bird's nest soup, 7 or 8 kinds of staple food and snacks, and even 5 or 6 kinds of side dishes. This food is not rice, it is clearly money, money that should have been given to her. Originally, she only planned to come over this trip to cry about poverty. She thought that the old man would feel better after staying in a nursing home for a few days, and he might be able to cover the nearly 1 million expenses for his daughter's study abroad. Otherwise, she would have to reluctantly sell the house. The relationship is so good now, her dad shot her in the chest right after she arrived. I immediately pulled out a chair and sat down. "Dad, when you sold Yu's Hung, you entrusted it to an agent with full authority. I'm afraid you don't even know who bought Yu's Hung." Zhang Peng frowned and looked impatient. "I've sold everything, the price is right and the money is given, I don't care who bought it. Do you have to come here to trouble me? I just think you need to know this person." Facing his little daughter's suddenly smiling eyes, Zhang Peng put down the spoon in his hand and had a bad feeling for no reason. But before he could stop drinking, Zhang Wenjie spoke faster and sharper. "It's my uncle, you probably didn't expect that, right? And do you know who Yueshan's new legal person is? It's Su Yin, the uncle with a bad mind wife. Su Yin, our whole family looked down upon such a fool at the beginning, who would have thought that she would become Yueshan's new owner now?" Zhang Peng's breathing became rapid. Zhang Wenjie just pretended not to hear, took out her phone and continued, "And Zhang Wenhui, I don't know, she thought her uncle was her biological father. Dad, do you know what Zhang Wenhui is doing now? She is now the vice president of Yu's Hung. What do you think? Isn't it funny, I have been a housewife for 20 years, and now I am 50 years old and become the vice president, becoming my uncle's subordinate." Zhang Peng covered his chest. But that didn't stop Zhang Wenjie from handing over the phone. "Dad, look, this is the formula developed by my uncle. Now it's actually made. It also uses Yin as the brand name. I heard that Zhang Lingzi gave his little grandpa the product. You don't have to pay a penny for advertising. It's only been a few days, and you can see that the sales volume has gone straight to the top of the cosmeceutical list. The profit must have exceeded tens of millions. It should soon catch up with the money you make from selling monthly products. Is that so? You said that if you had not severed the relationship between father and daughter with Zhang Wenhui." Old Mrs. Lin on the side didn't make it at first. She listened to the increasing amount of information in her ears and even forgot to get up to avoid it. When she noticed something was wrong with Lao Zhang sitting next to her, she was so frightened that she screamed, "Lao Zhang!" This scream also successfully interrupted Zhang Wenjie's words, and fortunately, he also had a good time. It wasn't until I took the phone back and bent down to see the old man who was still lowering his head that his face didn't look right, that I felt a little scared and hurriedly rang the emergency bell. The well-equipped medical team rushed over immediately. After an inspection, they said, "Sorry, Mr. Zhang has suffered a stroke." Zhang Wenjie's breath was stagnant. How could it be? That's all she said. Then the medical expenses for his stay here will also increase? I am his biological daughter, Can I refund the money on his behalf and go home to recuperate on his own? How can outsiders have relatives who are dedicated, right? Doctor. He didn't see it at all. Asterisk. Zhang Wenhui was blocked at the company gate by Zhang Wenjia. Sister, Dad has had a stroke. Zhang Wenhui paused. Zhang Wenjia's eyes lit up. Just about to take a step forward. First of all, I'm not your sister. Secondly, I don't have a father. Go away, you're blocking my backing up. Blood is thicker than water. Sister, Dad can't take care of himself now. How can you, a daughter, ignore him and not ask questions? Aren't you afraid that I will expose you? Your daughter is a big star now. Had this been said before, Zhang Wenhui might still have been threatened. But now that she has experienced so many things, she has long seen that Zhang Wenjia is just a paper tiger with no ability, and the only tricks he can use are these. She sneered directly, whatever you want. Zhang Peng sold Yu's Hung, and the money in his hand was not to mention 1 or 2 caregivers to take care of him. Even if he stayed in the hospital until he died and was cremated, he could use me. Are you worried about the person who broke off the relationship and kicked him out of the house? As for you, if the stroke is taken care of, you can live well, but if you deliberately neglect to take care of the person and take care of him in advance, it is intentional murder. If I know about it, I will be the first to call the police. Let the police catch you. Zhang Wenjia was stunned for a moment when she looked at Zhang Wenhui, who had a neat short haircut and much sharper eyes. Until the car horn sounded and she saw that the car was about to hit her, she hurriedly moved a few steps to the side. She watched Zhang Wenhui drive away in the car before she dared to stamp her feet bitterly. Zhang Wenhui answered the call from her daughter in the car. 11:11. Mom, are you off work? Well, I'm walking towards you. Has your dad arrived? You will join the team tomorrow. Before I left, I gave your dad a lot of instructions. You must get off work early in the evening and go to your place to eat together. A meal. My dad just sent a message. There is a traffic jam there, so he may be late. I'm fine here, but I know he's unreliable. He's stuck in traffic and doesn't know how to get off work early. Who could have thought of this in advance? Please pay attention to safety on the road and wait until you get home. Good. After arriving at Ziwan and seeing her daughter, Zhang Wenhui couldn't help but tell the news about Zhang Peng's stroke. It's good now. So what if you get money after selling Yu's Hung? In the end, you won't be able to enjoy anything. Now it's in Zhang Wenjia's hands again. Zixi, just watch. This pair of selfish people, father and daughter, there will be so much trouble in the future, we will never be disgusted again. Her Majesty the Queen has become a god in the entertainment industry. Author, Press 11. Chapter 765. Chapter 765. Join the group, nominated for the Magnolia Award. As soon as he arrived at the set, Zhang Lingzi met Feng Su's somewhat complicated gaze. Feng Dao. It's okay, you take your assistant to clean it up first. You 2 assistants will stay in Suliner's room after you pack it up, come down to set your makeup and attend the opening ceremony. The first day I joined the group was pretty easy, and I only did 3 things in total. Took a nanny car and rushed to the previous training base, which is also the current crew. Set makeup and take makeup photos. And other main creators of the crew and Yiying staff attended the opening ceremony. It's almost dark after these days of work. After the dinner, everyone went back to their respective rooms, washed up and then fell asleep. The shooting officially started the next day. Zhang Lingzi put on makeup early in the morning and rushed to the set after breakfast, where she saw a team of medical staff on standby in the corner. When the cameras, props, lighting, etc. were in place and the filming officially started, in addition to Coach Chi who served as the technical instructor, she also saw an instructor who was responsible for instructing the actors to wear safety equipment. I have to say that these arrangements really made the actors feel a lot more secure. After all, No one wants to be accidentally injured during filming. Firstly, they are afraid of pain, and secondly, they are afraid of slowing down the filming progress. With all these thoughtful safety measures in place, everyone became much more relaxed and bold when filming. The progress naturally accelerated a lot. Coupled with the fact that the two male and female leads worked very hard, the other actors also followed suit. Until Zhang Lingzi was nominated for the Magnolia Award and needed to take a day off to attend the award ceremony, after learning the news, the entire crew felt like they were finally able to relax. Feng Su simply waved his hand and said, "There will be no night show tomorrow. If you want to watch the Mulan Award ceremony, you can go to the multimedia room to watch the live broadcast." As soon as he announced the exit, there was a huge cheer immediately. Zhang Lingzi hasn't left yet, and Tong Yu said he would come to pick her up early tomorrow morning. Looking at the cheers of the crowd, Hui thought to herself, wouldn't it be a bit embarrassing if she didn't come back with a prize tomorrow? A figure sat down on the chair next to him. A confident voice reached my ears, "Sister 11 will definitely win the prize." Zhang Lingzi turned her head and looked at Xiao Yu, who was still wearing a racing suit, with hair slightly damp from sweat, and raised her eyebrows. "You have so much confidence in me." I also followed Empress Yuan Zhao. Sister 11 has the ability. Anyway, I think the other nominated actresses are not as good as you. Then let me lend you some good words. She herself, of course, wants to win an award. Just getting nominated is nothing, at best it is only 1/6. She wants to be the only one. Xiao Yu watched Zhang Lingzi leave and secretly clenched his fists. He now has a new goal, first to win the Qinghuan Award for Best Actor. As a younger brother, you can't be left too far behind. Asterisk. Early the next morning, Tong Yu came to pick her up. The first thing he said when he saw Zhang Lingzi was, "Director Wei saw that you were busy filming, so he asked me to ask, is Mr. Shen really not going to attend? He is also among the nominees for Best Actor this year." Zhang Lingzi calmly got into the car and then replied, "He will attend, but it's not the kind of attendance that Director Wei wants." Tong Yu could vaguely guess what her artist was talking about, but she still didn't give up. "Then what kind?" Zhang Lingzi spread her hands towards Tong Yu, "If he doesn't want to show up, then I won't force him to walk on the red carpet with me. So he will be there this time, but only as a family member." "Well, your Mr. Shen is the only one who has this willfulness. Tisk, he really only wants to be the man behind Her Majesty the Empress." Tong Yu shook her head helplessly and took out her mobile phone. "I'll tell Director Wei." Although we set off early in the morning, it was already past 3 in the afternoon when we finished the makeup, took photos, and met up with the rest of the Empress Yuan Zhao crew who had assembled again after a few months. It is less than 2 hours before the awards ceremony starts. Sister 11. Sister 11. Zhang Lingzi hugged each other with Wei Minmin and Pei Xinyuan, who were trotting up to meet them. At this time's Mulan Awards, if we only count the current nominations, the crew of Empress Yuan Zhao can be regarded as an out-and-out big winner. Not only are there nominations for Best Actor and Actor, but also Best Director, Best Supporting Actress, Best Newcomer, Best Screenplay, and Best Score. However, with so many nominations, it still depends on whether it can stand out among several major competitors. Pei Xinyuan was the most excited among everyone. Her face was rosy even without blush. "Sister 11, I never dreamed that I could be nominated for the Best Newcomer at the Magnolia Award. When I learned the news, I was so excited that I couldn't sleep all night." Originally, she wanted to call the person in front of her to share the good news, but she also knew that Sister 11 was filming, so she restrained herself from calling. "I would be satisfied even if I only got a nomination. The agents who contacted me before after the company learned that I had been nominated for Best Newcomer, they contacted me and said they could increase my contract level by 2 levels based on the original negotiation." Wei Minmin patted her shoulder and asked with a smile, "I see you are quite confused. Do you want to come to my studio? Although my studio is a bit small, the staff is simple and the degree of freedom is quite high. With profit sharing, it's definitely no worse than other brokerage companies. Pei Xinyuan quickly thanked you. Thank you, Sister Min Min. I will consider it carefully. Okay, if you think about it, just contact me directly. Zhang Lingzi is also happy that Pei Xinyuan can develop well in this circle. Be bold, maybe you will be the winner of the best newcomer this time. Pei Xinyuan was immediately encouraged. He took a deep breath and nodded seriously. Yeah. He. Two sudden sneers came from the side. Zhang Lingzi and Pei Xinyuan turned around and looked over, and saw Zhou Lingyu standing there with her mouth covered behind a bunch of magnolia branches that had bloomed 2 or 3 meters away from them. I said some people are so confident the award ceremony hasn't even started yet, and it's as if the award is already in their pocket. Pei Xinyuan suddenly blushed. If you don't have any ambition in life, then don't think about winning any awards. Even if you get nominated, you will still have to run away. Zhang Lingzi, you. What am I? I dare to say that my goal is to be the best heroine in Mulan. Do you dare? Seeing Zhou Lingyu being so angry, she pulled off a magnolia flower and turned around to leave. She happened to be spotted by a nearby staff member who came over and warned them to pay for malicious damage to the flowers and trees. Zhang Lingzi and Pei Xinyuan smiled at each other. The consequences of being mean. After a while it was time to queue up for admission. Generally speaking, there is a certain order of entry for award ceremonies like this. Less famous newcomers are ranked higher in the queue, and the further back they are, the greater their status and fame. Zhang Lingzi entered directly in the middle and late stages this time. Watching Pei Xinyuan enter the venue first, she took the mobile phone handed over by Lu Zhengzheng. After reading the message sent by Shen Yunqing, she sent another one. When she looked up, she saw Zhou Lingyu coming out of the corner with an unhappy look on her face and sitting directly in the waiting area in front of her. Just as he was about to look away, the person in front suddenly turned his head and looked over. After their eyes met for a moment, Zhou Lingyu suddenly twisted her neck back, and then she couldn't help but let out a light hiss, twisting the tendons in her neck. I had to hold on the desire to rub my neck secretly in my heart, and I was unlucky. Why did she just arrange her in front of Zhang Lingzi? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Her Majesty the Queen has become a god in the entertainment industry. Author, Press 11. Chapter 766. Chapter 766 Best Newcomer Award. Teacher Zhang, it's time to go. The staff stepped forward to remind her. Zhang Lingzi handed the phone to Lu Zhengzheng, stood up and walked towards the red carpet in front. Zhou Lingyu, who was in the front, had just walked to the middle and back section, and was about to look back and smile in front of the steps when she saw the cameras on both sides that were originally aimed at her moved back, followed by shouts one after another. It also came from behind. Zhang Lingzi, look here. Zhang Lingzi. Your Majesty. The smile that had just lifted up at the corner of her mouth suddenly froze. Can't you come out later? Even though she doesn't want to admit it, with the popularity of Empress Yuan Zhao, the most popular actress at the beginning of this year is really the one behind her. Seeing that all the shots on her side were about to be gone, her face that had just turned halfway turned back abruptly. Zhou Lingyu picked up her skirt and walked quickly to the signing place. She took the signature pen handed over by the MC and took it with her. With some venting, he wrote his name heavily on the signature board. After turning around and striking a few poses, two hosts, a man and a woman, came up with professional smiles and conducted a routine interview. Even though Zhou Lingyu was dissatisfied, she could only answer a few words with a smile before being invited to sit down in front of the audience. Looking up, On the big screen in the upper right corner, Zhang Lingzi was frequently stopped by the major media on both sides of the red carpet to take photos and interviews. It was a scene that was moving at a tortoise speed. She took one look and quickly looked away. After a while, she couldn't help but pursed her lips and looked over. At the same time, I cursed secretly in my heart, reality. Didn't she have any TV dramas last year? But that was because she ventured into the film industry and didn't care about TV dramas. When it comes to her previous achievements, Zhang Lingzi can't compare to her. There's only so much she can do. An Empress Yuan Zhao, she is really able to adapt to the changing circumstances. Finally breaking through the siege and walking to the signing place, even Zhang Lingzi couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. After taking the signature pen and signing her name, she was ready to take a seat. As soon as he raised his feet, he was stopped by the host, "Teacher Zhang Lingzi, please wait a moment." Zhou Lingyu looked at the much more enthusiastic smiles on the two hosts' faces on the screen when they faced her just now, and tightened her grip on the mineral water bottle. Snobbish. Noticing the infield camera panning to his side, he quickly raised a smile. Under the guidance of the hostess, Zhang Lingzi walked to the seat assigned to her and sat down. In the third row, near the aisle. At this moment, there is no one in the first and second rows, and even at a glance, there are less than 5 people in the third row. Sister 11. Zhang Lingzi had just adjusted the somewhat bulky and cumbersome hem of her dress. When she heard the voice and looked back, she saw Pei Zinyuan sitting in the 5th row waving to her. She raised her hand in response. Although Lu Zhengzheng and the others also entered the infield, they could only wait in the corner of the back row. At this moment, Zhang Lingzi was seen on the big screen taking a seat, and then she walked over quickly, bending her waist and avoiding the camera. Sister 11, cell phone. Zhang Lingzi took the phone. Although the seats behind her are almost full, there are no people in the 2 rows in front of her. It will take a while for everyone to be seated. It is not easy to sit down. When Lu Zhengzheng returned the same way, she opened her phone and clicked on the pinned profile picture. Where are you sitting? The lights in the venue were not all bright at the moment, and it was still a little dark. She just glanced at it, but she really didn't see Shen Yunqing. After sending the message, it took almost a minute to receive a reply. In the background. Why are you going backstage? I met Xiao Jingheng when I came in. Zhang Lingzi suddenly thought of the row of names posted on the seats that she had scanned when she just passed the first row. A seat near the middle seems to have this name on it. I searched it on my mobile phone. The entries will come out soon. Xiao Jingheng, Honorary Vice President of the Global Film and Television Association, President of the China Film and Television Association, founder of Jingheng Media. There is a long list of titles behind him. That's no wonder I can sit in the middle of the first row. Backstage. Xiao Jingheng waited patiently for the young man in front of him to look up after replying the message, and then said with a smile, "It seems that Miss Zhang has already entered the venue and took her seat without seeing you, so I won't keep you here." Shen Yunqing stood up and said, "Let's talk about it when we have time." After receiving the message from Shen Yunqing again, Zhang Lingzi looked towards the front left where the special guests were. His eyes fell on a figure taking a seat. How do you know Xiao Jingheng? Some contacts at work. By the way, he is still Xiao Yifeng's father. Zhang Lingzi. She opened the entry she had just closed, skipped the series of titles, and then flipped back. Sure enough, I saw the words Xiao Yifeng in the item for children. Happiness is a son inheriting his father's legacy. Shen Yunqing, he is also one of the award-giving guests tonight. Actually, he still has a guess. With Xiao Jingheng's status, if he were to award an award, he would definitely be awarding a heavyweight award. It is very likely that he is the guest who presented the award to His Majesty. The two of them were just chatting with each other, sending messages to each other less than 10 meters apart. Unknowingly, the first two rows were filled one after another. The people sitting in the first row are naturally important figures in the entertainment industry like Xiao Jingheng, as well as several well-known old artists. The second row are some famous directors and TV queens who have won heavyweight awards. The third row where Zhang Lingzi is and the fourth row behind are the most popular and popular celebrities. Such an arrangement is common practice, so it's no wonder that everyone in the entertainment industry is focused on trying their best to work their way up to the top of the pyramid. Otherwise, if you don't have much fame, you will have to sit in the back rows, which is crowded and noisy with no camera. At 6:30, the Magnolia Awards ceremony started on time. After the opening song and dance, it was time for the awards ceremony. According to convention, the first awards are small awards, and the later awards become more important. The best male and female protagonists are placed at the end, and the two awards are awarded alternately. The last one was the Best Actor finale, so this one is the Best Actress finale. This means that others can leave early if they have something to do, but the Best Actress nominee must stay until the end. After awarding two consecutive awards in the art and editing categories, we finally waited for the first small climax. The host announced on the stage, "The following is the award for this year's Best Newcomer." The newcomers shortlisted this time are Empress Yuan Zhao Pei Xinyuan. Please watch the highlights on the big screen. The finalists were all very capable. Pei Xinyuan tried his best to maintain a calm smile on his face. In fact, his hands on his thighs unconsciously pulled out the folds of his dress. Watching the previous few exciting clips, I felt my heart pounding so hard it could shatter my eardrums. When it was finally my turn to appear on the big screen, my heart jumped directly into my throat. Now the famous old artist Li Suejun will present the award to our current Mulan Best Newcomer Award winner. The old lady wearing an elegant dark pattern cheongsam walked up to the stage, took the red envelope from the host, opened it and took a look. Okay, now I announce that the winner of this year's Best Newcomer Award is In Yuan Zhao. Congratulations to Pei Xinyuan who plays Qing Yuan in The Empress. Zhang Lingzi was the first to raise her hands and applaud. Pei Xinyuan took a deep breath and stood up from his seat. He walked to Zhang Lingzi and paused. "Your Majesty, I want a hug." Let her have her own way. Her Majesty the Queen has become a god in the entertainment industry. Author, Press 11. Chapter 767. Zhang Lingzi stood up and hugged her. She watched the little girl lift up her skirt and step onto the stage with excitement. She received the magnolia-shaped crystal trophy and the bright red award certificate from the old artist, and then delivered her acceptance speech. "I'm so excited. Well, the first step is to thank you," Pei Xinyuan said, his eyes falling on Zhang Lingzi who was looking at her with a smile on his lips. "The first person I want to thank is Sister 11. In the play, we are monarchs and ministers, but in the outside of the show, she is also the most reliable sister in my heart." The camera facing the audience also moved in front of Zhang Lingzi. Zhou Lingyu felt sour in her heart after hearing this. "She is so grateful that she might as well give the trophy to you, my sister. Besides, the director was also here, so I didn't know how to thank the director and the crew first, but instead thanked the other actors in the same crew first. It was really inexperienced." When the others came down from the stage after delivering their acceptance speeches, there was another round of applause. The climax of the awards ceremony ended, and as another round of song and dance performances began, the audience watching the live broadcast also started to send comments. The competition for this year's Magnolia Award is so fierce. If Empress Yuan Zhao hadn't come out a few years ago, the best newcomer would have been Su Meng. Su Meng's green apricot is indeed not bad, and his acting skills are also remarkable. I feel that it is on par with Pei Xinyuan's Qing Yuan, but in terms of the popularity of the drama, Empress Yuan Zhao beats green apricot. Pei Xinyuan really brought out the calmness of the female official in charge of Empress Yuan Zhao, and she truly deserves the title of Best Newcomer. I thought this role would be better played by an older actress, until I saw Qing Yuan played by Pei Zinyuan. It should be like this. Is the relationship between Pei Zinyuan and Zhang Lingzi really good? When I went on stage to receive the award, I actually stopped halfway to ask Zhang Lingzi for a hug. It was so cute. Grapevine, it seems that the role of Qing Yuan was not Pei Zinyuan at first, but a certain actor named Zhang who had not appeared for a long time later. It seemed that something went wrong with the actor named Zhang, and Pei Zinyuan was replaced. It was recommended by Zhang Lingzi and the director people. Well, then it's no wonder that Pei Zinyuan was the first to thank Zhang Lingzi. Without Zhang Lingzi, there would be no Qing Yuan today. In other words, I thought there would be an actor who plays Princess Jinan among the best newcomer nominees. Didn't the news come out on the internet a long time ago? The person who plays Princess Jinan was the science champion in the imperial capital last year. She is now studying at the University of Washington. At that time, she only made a guest appearance on the set during the summer vacation and had no plans to enter the entertainment industry. I realize that human beings are all different. Not only are they top academics, but they can also act. I'm so impressed. I heard that Princess Jinan was also recommended by Zhang Lingzi. True or false? Why is there Zhang Lingzi everywhere? On how the heroine stole the director's job, please refer to Zhang Lingzi. XSWL ha ha ha. After the Best Newcomer Award, several more awards were interspersed, and then came the competition for Best Supporting Actress. Wei Minmin was nominated for Best Supporting Actress, but ultimately lost to a senior in the industry. The TV series produced by the other party was broadcast last year. Although it is far less popular than Empress Yuan Zhao, the portrayal of the characters moved everyone who watched the TV series. After hearing the candidates for the Best Supporting Actress award, Wei Minmin felt a little regretful, but she was also convinced. She has also watched that drama and even cried while watching it. The loss is not unfair. This year is really intense. If Empress Yuan Zhao and Yao Yu can be staggered, I feel that both of them can be rated as the Best Supporting Actress. Wei Minmin's Wei Fueying still lacks a bit of iron-bloodedness, but it is really difficult to play roles such as female generals these days. You have to be strong and soft. She has made a breakthrough this time. If she goes to the military camp in the early stage, it should be better with some experience. Teacher he played by He Yun made me cry to death when I saw it. I heard that it took her half a year to get out of this film, and she deserves the title of Best Supporting Actress. Zhang Lingzi looked at the live broadcast on her mobile phone and turned to look in the direction of Wei Minmin. Wei Minmin's Wei Fueying does lack some iron-bloodedness, but she can't be blamed for this. In this peaceful age, I have never experienced bloodshed on the battlefield, let alone Wei Fueying's unique experience. I only acted based on that feeling and the director's guidance. It is already very good to be able to perform like this. Awarding continues. Before the awards for the Best Actor and Actor, there is another heavyweight award, which is the Best Director award. This award ultimately went to Wei Xiao. But what everyone didn't expect was that when director Wei gave his acceptance speech, the first person he thanked was also Zhang Lingzi. All the actors in the audience. An audience watching the awards live broadcast again. I think at least half of the credit for the success of Empress Yuan Zhao should be attributed to Zhang Lingzi. You may not believe it, but it is true. Her performance as Emperor Yuan Zhao is successful on the one hand, but in other aspects the help given to me was also great, including perfecting the script in the early stage. I don't know if the audience who watched the opening and ending of the film noticed that Zhang Lingzi's name was listed in the column of screenwriters, and he was only behind me. There are also actors, the male lead, Prime Minister Shen, the role of Qing Yuan, who just won the Best Newcomer, and the person who plays Princess Jinan, who is not here today. If there is no Zhang Lingzi, then other people will play these three roles. I will never accept anyone else to play Prime Minister Shen. Director Wei's acceptance speech feels like it should be renamed thanks to Zhang Lingzi. I also want to thank Zhang Lingzi. Without her, I don't know who would play Prime Minister Shen. Anyway, I only accept Mr. Shen's role as Prime Minister Shen. Both have the surname Shen, this is not what they are destined to be. Emperor Yuan Zhao's real surname is Zhang, and Zhang Lingzi is also surnamed Zhang. Isn't it fate? The real name of Emperor Yuan Zhao is Zhang Lingzi. I forgot which book I saw it in at home. Come and put your destiny on the public screen. This Best Director award, in addition to standing on the awards stage to defend the director's attention, Zhang Lingzi once again enjoyed a 1-minute-long shot while sitting in the audience. As the awards were awarded one after another, the time unknowingly reached past 8 o'clock. Many actors who have busy schedules and do not participate in subsequent award selections have quietly left one after another. Zhou Lingyu did not get a good nomination this time, and she was able to get the invitation letter because she still has a certain status in the TV industry. Logically speaking, no one would say anything if she left now, but she had already made up her mind to sit till the end. She wanted to see who would win the Best Actress in Mulan this year. She was not willing to accept it until she saw the final result. The agent who came over to ask her if she wanted to leave first looked at her stubborn look and sighed. Why bother? If the best heroine really falls to Zhang Lingzi, wouldn't it be even more depressing? The host on the stage began to announce the nominees for Best Actor. Zhang Lingzi sent a message to Shen Yunqing. Guess whether the best actor will be you. Not me. So sure? I knew it before the award ceremony started. Did Xiao Jingheng tell you? Although Prime Minister Shen is the male protagonist, his role is less than half that of the female protagonist. Secondly, he is not an insider and has no plans to develop in the entertainment industry. Based on the measurement, it is undoubtedly a better choice to award this award to other equally outstanding actors. The nomination is already considered an affirmation. Without Shen Yunqing's explanation, Zhang Lingzi quickly figured out the connection and looked up at the clip of his prime minister on the big screen. I have to say, the excerpt is really good. End of chapter. Her Majesty the Queen has become a god in the entertainment industry. Author, Press 11. Chapter 768. Prime Minister Shen. While watching TV, I really had the feeling that this was a young prime minister from an aristocratic family from ancient times, and there was absolutely no sense of disobedience. Maybe it has something to do with his career. In reality, Mr. Shen also works in a cultural-related job, so he has this elegant and profound demeanor. I am superficial, I only look at faces. Prime Minister Shen is the man of my dreams, I will not accept refutation. This crimson official robe wears to my heart, even the salute is so elegant and smooth. When I watched this clip, I even studied it in front of the mirror. Well, how should I put it? Pureness is the difference between a buyer's show and a seller's show. I heard that before the filming started, special training was given on etiquette and other matters. But I think Prime Minister Shen's movements are the most natural. Me too. I just want to know if Mr. Shen will act in TV series again. I think this question can be asked to Your Majesty. Let's find out more about women singing to their husbands. Will the best actor this year be Prime Minister Shen? It's hard to say, although the others are not as good looking, they all have better acting skills. Again, the competition this year is so fierce. While the barrage was rapidly filling the screen, the award-giving guest came on stage. Shout out the final candidate for Best Actor. It's not Prime Minister Shen. Xiao Ying is also okay. I heard that he was seriously injured when filming Iron-Blooded Charge. The plot was also very exciting, and it even inspired many young people to become soldiers. Well, there can only be one best. Besides, the actor who plays Prime Minister Shen is not in the entertainment industry, so the selection committee will definitely prefer to award the award to an insider. And it seems that Mr. Shen was not present today. I didn't see it either. I thought Zhang Lingzi and Mr. Shen would walk on the red carpet hand in hand, But I didn't expect that. There are so few daily photos of the two of them together, I want to see them. The next one is the competition for Best Actress. Your Majesty. My Emperor. I bet on the domineering Empress played by Zhang Lingzi. The Empress appears, who can compete with her? Zhang Lingzi glanced at the barrage on the phone screen. After the winner of the Best Actor gave his acceptance speech and walked off the stage, it was time to announce the final award. Moderator, I would like to invite Mr. Xiao Jingheng, President of the Huazhu Film and Television Association, to reveal the winner of this year's Mulan Award for Best Actress. Zhang Lingzi raised her eyebrows slightly when she heard this. Although some people in the audience left early, a large number of people remained. With this announcement, Zhang Lingzi clearly felt that the atmosphere in her row had changed as she watched Xiao Jingheng take the stage. The cameras swept across, and several actors nominated for Best Actress flashed on the big screen. No matter how hard you try to suppress it, you can still see their nervousness. Looking at them like this, I also became nervous. No need to ask, the exciting moment is coming. Why do I feel that except for Zhang Lingzi, everyone else is a little too nervous? Zhang Lingzi is a big killer this time, and he is also a big threat. The threat is too great. Please move the camera to the side, I just want to see Zhang Lingzi's confident look. She is really the calmest. As clips from the TV series nominated for Best Actress began to play on the screen, everyone turned their attention to the big screen. I knew there would be a part about the Queen's ascension to the throne. No matter how many times I watch it, I still feel so shocked. There is also a scene where the Empress and the Northern Barbarian Prince confront each other. Chongyin's appearance is really good, and her style is completely different from that of Prime Minister Shen, but she seems to have disappeared after filming this role. Really, could it be that the young master from a big family comes to the entertainment industry to have fun? As for the cast of Empress Yuan Zhao, I can really say that it is very rare to be able to put them together. It can be said to be unprecedented and unprecedented. Actually, the other leading actresses are also quite talented, especially veteran drama star Yu Hua. As a result, Zhang Lingzi appeared out of nowhere. The acting is good, but it's a pity that the audience is a bit small, and the popularity cannot be compared with Empress Yuan Zhao. The selection committee must consider it comprehensively. Yes, I still stand by Zhang Lingzi. Zhou Lingyu pressed down the screen of her phone hard. She originally just wanted to see who the public on the internet thought more favorably, but ended up feeling even more depressed after reading it. Zhang Lingzi is not comparable to several other nominated veteran actors. Her qualifications are not comparable, or even very junior. As for acting, it's just a case of a blind cat meeting a dead mouse. It happens to hit a suitable role with a suitable script. Otherwise, if I try other roles, I'm afraid I won't even get a nomination. This generation of netizens are superficial. Looking up, the playback of the excerpt happened to end, and what was finally fixed was the promotional poster for Empress Yuan Zhao. Looking over it, I just feel it's extremely dazzling. Xiao Jingheng had already received the envelope containing the final candidate. After opening it, he took a look, raised his hand and spoke calmly toward the microphone. Now I announce that the winner of this year's Mulan Award for Best Actress is Zhang Lingzi in Empress Yuan Zhao. Yu Yes heart felt relieved again. Originally, she was very confident about this award until she saw Empress Yuan Zhao starring Zhang Lingzi. Now I have been mentally prepared for it. I am definitely disappointed, but I can still accept it. I can only say that the waves behind the Yangtze River push the waves ahead. Thinking of this, she turned to look at Zhang Lingzi, who was sitting not far from her. Unexpectedly, the other party was very sharp. As soon as she looked over, the other party looked over. After the two looked at each other, Yu Ye smiled and said in a neither high nor low voice, "Congratulations." Even though Zhang Lingzi didn't know Yu Hua before, she had just seen the clip of the nominated TV series and recognized him at a glance. She nodded and said thank you. After saying that, he left his seat and walked towards the stage. Yuhua is really, emotionally stable whether on or off the show. Zhang Lingzi is not bad either, her condition is really stable. I almost thought she already knew the final result. I kind of want to see these two acting on the same stage. There should be a chance in the future. But I seem to have heard that Zhang Lingzi is currently filming a movie. True or false, but there is indeed no news that she has accepted a TV drama script. I originally thought she would take the role of Queen Xiao, but unexpectedly she settled on Dong Wei. You have just established yourself in the TV industry, and now you are jumping into the film industry without making a few movies to stabilize yourself. Are you not afraid of taking too big a step? Am I the only one curious about what movie Zhang Lingzi is making? Netizens were still rapidly posting comments, but Zhang Lingzi had already walked to the stage. Mr. Xiao. Xiao Jingheng smiled and handed over the trophy and award certificate. Congratulations, your future life will be formidable. Looking at the calm and steady expression of the person in front of me after learning about the award, I thought of Shen Yunqing, whom I had a conversation with before. Xiao Jingheng couldn't help but thought, these two young men are indeed a couple. Thanks. According to the usual practice, after receiving the trophy, the award speech is delivered. However, before giving his acceptance speech this time, the host responded to the entreaties of netizens and added a few more interviews. Teacher Zhang, many netizens who are watching the live broadcast want me to ask a few questions on their behalf. Okay. You say. Well, why didn't Prime Minister Shen show up with you? He is low-key. The host waited for a while and said, no more. Any other questions? Everyone in the audience and the audience watching the live broadcast. Thinking again about this person's always concise account updates, they can now imagine that they may hear the shortest acceptance speech in history later. End of chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Her Majesty the Queen has become a god in the entertainment industry. Author, Press 11. Chapter 769. I have to say that this time netizens have discovered the truth. Zhang Lingzi didn't bother to say the long list of thanks for this and that made everyone's ears go numb. She just summed it up with one sentence, thank you to everyone who has devoted time and energy to the drama Empress Yuan Zhao. Then he briefly summarized the filming experience in 2 sentences, and finally concluded with please continue to pay attention to my next works. After saying that, he walked towards the stage holding the trophy. Still taking advantage of this opportunity to silently recite the host's closing speech at the award ceremony. Are you in such a hurry? Ha ha ha, I noticed the host's stunned expression. I have probably never seen an award-winning actor whose entire acceptance speech lasted less than a minute. Unlike us, we have already guessed this result based on this person's usual style. The host should have learned something from the interview just now. This person never likes to talk nonsense. I wonder if there will be an additional rule in future award ceremonies that the winner's acceptance speech must not be less than 3 minutes. Zhang Lingzi, an actor who single-handedly forced award ceremonies to increase regulations 23333. When Zhou Lingyu heard that Zhang Lingzi was announced as the best actress, she subconsciously got up and left, but if she did, anyone could see that she was unhappy with the result. I could only hold back to sit, watching Zhang Lingzi interacting with Yu Hua, who missed the best female lead, watching Zhang Lingzi on the podium, or the president of the Film and Television Association awarded the awards in person, and was called by the host for an additional interview. Honor, attracting everyone's attention. It also made her feel jealous like fire. The heart that was burned through by jealousy was filled with unspeakable panic. Her style is somewhat similar to Zhang Lingzi's, and the works she specializes in are all about heroines. Now that Zhang Lingzi is on the rise, she does not have enough outstanding works and popularity to suppress the other. Not long ago, I missed the role of Empress Xiao. Even though she bought the draft of He Dongui, it didn't stop Dongui from joining the cast. I heard that the director of Queen Xiao was very satisfied with Donggui's performance, and she had no chance at all. The entertainment industry has always been one of ebb and flow. If there is a similar theme in the future, the producers will only mention Zhang Lingzi, who just won the Best Actress, and she will be the second choice. How could she accept this result willingly? The last program of the awards ceremony was the theme song of Empress Yuanzhao sung by Lin Yan. At this year's Mulan Awards, although Empress Yuanzhao did not win a Grand Slam, it won 3 heavyweight awards. It is undoubtedly the biggest winner. But Zhou Lingyu didn't listen to a single lyric. When the agent came over, he saw the paleness on her face that could not be concealed by heavy makeup. Lingyu. Lingyu. After shouting several times in a row, Zhou Lingyu finally recovered from the terrible expectation, moved her lips and struggled to say, "I'm fine. Agent. It doesn't look like nothing is going on." But she was also worried. It would be okay if Zhang Lingzi didn't win the Best Actress award this time. Now that she has won it, as long as she doesn't act like a monster in the future, it will be simply unstoppable. Looking at her own artists, she doesn't even want to say anything. She is tired of trying to persuade people, but what can she do if people just don't listen? Go. Walk. But before getting up to leave through the side door, she couldn't help but look back in Zhang Lingzi's direction. The award ceremony is over, people in the venue have left one after another, and there are many empty seats. The crew of Empress Yuanzhao gathered around Zhang Lingzi. The stars support the moon. Zhang Lingzi was talking to Pei Xinyuan and others who came to say goodbye to her, when she noticed the glances coming from not far away and looked over. Suddenly meeting a pair of bright and captivating eyes, Zhou Lingyu looked away almost hastily, picked up her skirt and left in a hurry. Sister 11, Zhang Lingzi watched Zhou Lingyu's back disappear from sight, and looked back. "It's nothing, be careful on the way back." So are you. As everyone left one after another, Tong Yu came over with Lu Zhengzheng and Fang Yao grinning. "Let me see it quickly." Zhang Lingzi had no choice but to hand back the trophy that had just been returned to her hand. "Sister Tong, I will go back to Ziwan tonight and return to the set tomorrow morning. Zhengzheng and Yao Yao can just go back in the nanny car." Tong Yu had just finished looking at the trophy at close range. Before she had time to open the award certificate, she looked up after hearing this and saw a figure walking over. She nodded immediately, "Okay, as long as I'm late when I return to the set tomorrow." She can also prevent her own artists from sharing the joy of winning the award with Mr. Shen. "I'm afraid it's not that my life is too long." The 3 of them took turns taking a look at the trophy and certificate, then said hello to Shen Yunqing, who came to pick them up, and left wisely. Zhang Lingzi thrust the trophy that had just been passed back into Shen Yunqing's hand. "Let's go, I'm hungry." Although she managed to grab a bite to eat before the award ceremony started, the award ceremony lasted for 3 hours, and she had to pay attention to her posture while being photographed. The physical exertion was no less than that of exercise. Shen Yunqing held the trophy in one hand and held Zhang Lingzi's wrist in the other. "I ask Xiaji to prepare a midnight snack, so you can eat it when you get back. There are also a few packs of snacks in the car, so you can cushion them first." Those in the venue who originally wanted to come over and say a few words had no choice but to stop as they watched Zhang Lingzi being led away. "Isn't this person not here? It's probably not that he didn't come, but that he came but didn't plan to show up. That's indeed low-key enough." Speaking of being low-key, the person who just stopped and looked at each other reminded me of Zhang Lingzi's answer on the stage. "What do you think this Mr. Shen is?" Who knows, intuition can't be offended. Me too, I've finally concluded that the more low-key a person is, the less likely they are to be offended. Who says it's not? Zhang Lingzi didn't know that anyone saw Shen Yunqing coming to pick her up, so she couldn't help but discuss it. This time, she was biting the soda biscuits that Shen Yunqing gave her. Eat two by yourself and stuff one into Shen Yunqing's mouth. Who asked this man to drive? When she arrived at Z1, she changed out of her complicated dress first, then sat down and ate a bowl of wontons in clear soup that had just been cooked. Looking up, she saw that Shen Yunqing, who had only filled half the bowl and finished it before her, was wiping her trophy with a plain handkerchief. After wiping the trophy clean without any trace of fingerprints, he placed it together with the award certificate on the rosewood cabinet that had been prepared long ago. Zhang Lingzi held her chin and waited for the man to finish his work. Then he stood up and walked to his side to take a closer look. It's quite good looking. The cabinet is simple, the trophy is exquisite, and has a unique beauty. She has never doubted her Prime Minister's taste. This cabinet will be used exclusively to store His Majesty's trophies from now on. Then we'll talk about it later. Now, isn't it time to go to bed? End of chapter. Her Majesty the Queen has become a god in the entertainment industry. Author, Press 11. Chapter 770. Chapter 770 Survival Season 3 starts airing. Early the next morning, Zhang Lingzi hurried back to the set before work started on the set. Xiao Xiao, who was in charge of makeup, was already prepared. When Zhang Lingzi sat down in front of the makeup mirror, he quickly started to apply makeup skillfully. After putting on makeup, Zhang Lingzi rushed to the set with Lu Zhengzheng and Fang Yao first, and received a wave of congratulations after seeing the crew. Last night was a rare break, and many people in the crew went to the multimedia room to watch the awards live broadcast. Even if you haven't watched it, you can use your mobile phone to click on the hot search list, and the hot search term #Milanhua Award Best Actress hashtag is still at the top of the hot search list. Relevant push notifications from major media outlets are coming one after another. It's impossible not to see it even if you don't want to. However, after the congratulations, it was still intensive shooting. Feng Su was originally a little worried that after Zhang Lingzi suddenly received such a high honor at such a young age, her mind might be a little wandering, and she was thinking about how to suppress it. When I turned it on and looked at the monitor, I saw that the situation was basically the same as before, and it was more stable than the rest of the crew. Okay, it's no use worrying. As for Xiao Yu and the others who acted opposite Zhang Lingzi, they came and Sister 11 came again with her unique sense of oppression. He couldn't help but tighten the strings as well. They just won the Best Actress and are performing as stably as ever in filming, so they can't let up. Asterisk. The excitement of the Magnolia Awards ceremony lasted for almost a week before it subsided. During this period, the Survival program team announced online that Survival Season 3 was about to be broadcast. This move can be regarded as a little bit of Zhang Lingzi's popularity. After all, Zhang Lingzi was a guest in the first season of Survival. This program can also be said to be the beginning of her rise to fame, which is quite memorable. As soon as the news was released, many netizens went to the official account of Survival Season 3 to ask if Zhang Lingzi would join the show in the third season. It's just that this time the program was a bit clumsy, and I only picked one of the comments and replied, "The guests of this episode will be announced after the broadcast." It has left everyone with enough suspense. However, the effect was good. Many people wanted to know whether Zhang Lingzi, who had just won the Best Actress award for Mulan, would go to the old friends. The number of people booking the show quickly increased a lot. The day before Survival premiered, it was already early in the morning when Zhang Lingzi finished filming the last scene. Tong Yu also came to the set and got up and walked over immediately after watching her play. The program will start broadcasting at 7:30 tomorrow morning. A pilot video will be shot to gather at the airport. After that, we will take a 2-hour flight to Guizhou Island, and then transfer to a ship to go to the small island where the filming is taking place. We will not participate in the airport gathering. By then just gather directly on the island. You can take off your makeup and rest for another 4 hours, then set off for the airport, get off the plane and get on the speedboat that Mr. Shen helped contact. As expected, you will be able to meet the program team on time. This time I will send you there and go back the same way. Zhang Lingzi nodded and took off his gloves, then turned and walked towards Feng Su. Feng Su was watching the playback of the scene just now. Zhang Lingzi walked over without interrupting and watched it together before saying, "Is there anything that needs to be reshot?" Okay. Feng Su waved his hand, looked away from the monitor, and turned to look at Zhang Lingzi. "The program I watched was still dangerous. You should try your best not to get hurt. It's still a while before you get back. Important scenes need to be filmed." Good. She must not let herself get hurt. Someone also made an appointment for this live broadcast. Go back and have a rest. Originally, he was absolutely not allowed to make other announcements during filming. But, like the Magnolia Award, he can't stop people from accepting the award. This survival was filmed before he was confirmed to play the heroine in The Wind. Of course, the main reason is that he also discovered during this period that Zhang Lingzi has a very strong centripetal force. Not only can she work herself, but she can also lead other people in the crew to follow suit. Everyone worked together, and the shooting progress naturally rushed forward, which was much faster than he expected. Otherwise, he would not be willing to give the heroine 5 consecutive days of leave during the filming period. After returning to the dormitory, Zhang Lingzi lay down on the bed after taking off her makeup. Compressing all the scenes for the next 5 days to the front was a lot of pressure for her, and she fell asleep within a few minutes of her head hitting the pillow. Tong Yu took Lu Zhengzheng and Fang Yao out of the room carefully, packed their luggage, and then went to sleep. 4 hours go by in a blink of an eye. Zhang Lingzi opened her eyes when she heard the door knock, and sat up after 2 seconds. Fang Yao was sent to wake her up. "Sister 11, are you awake?" Breakfast has been heated up." Sister Tong said, "We will set off in half an hour." There is a big difference between having an assistant and not having an assistant. The room where Zhang Lingzi lives has a place for cooking, but this place was never used during the previous closed training. Ever since Lu Zhengzheng and Fang Yao came, they would often make porridge and fruit tea. You can heat up breakfast in the room without having to go to the restaurant below. After Fang Yao went out, it took Zhang Lingzi less than 10 minutes to wash up and change clothes. Save a lot of time by not using makeup. We went out to have a simple yet nutritious breakfast together. It was almost half an hour before we left the house, and the time came to 7:30. At this moment, several other guests of Survival Season 3 have already rushed to the airport to gather, and they have just got on the bus to the airport. Lu Zhengzheng took out his tablet from his backpack and opened a live broadcast. "Oh, there are quite a lot of people watching online. There are quite a lot of people who got up early to watch the live broadcast." Zhang Lingzi turned her head and glanced at the screen. "I saw a few familiar faces. Linjing and adventure expert couple Sui Huyi are both regular guests of Survival. They have participated in the previous 2 seasons, and they are not missing this time. Su Zhao was not here. I don't know whether he didn't attend or didn't arrive. Just when I thought of Zhang Kaiwen, I saw this man appear in the live broadcast camera, running with his face flushed. After meeting the others, the first thing he said was to ask, 'I'm not late, am I?' The only thing that surprised her was that there was Chen Qiun in the live broadcast. He probably didn't know the others very well, so he was sitting alone in the corner. Zhang Kaiwen greeted all the guests, and naturally did not miss her. The two of them exchanged a few words with each other, who were not familiar with each other. When Lu Zhengzheng saw Chen Qiun among the guests, she turned to look at her sister 11. She remembered that she was one of the 2 competitors of Sister 11 in the previous closed training. "I lost to Sister 11 when I was competing for a role, and now that I meet her on the show, will there be new grudges and old grudges, specifically against Sister 11? How come this Chen Qiun also participated? Who? Tong Yu was sitting in the passenger seat and turned around when she heard the name. Is Chen Qiun also a guest this season? Zhang Lingzi, don't worry, this is the silly eldest sister. If it were Sulinur, she might still have a headache. It's not that she's afraid of this person plotting against her, but that she hates people acting like monsters. But if Chen Qiun meets on the island, the other person should be very surprised. The crew. Before it was time to start work on the set, Xiao Yu started the live broadcast of Survival Season 3 on his mobile phone while eating breakfast. You can spot Chen Qiun at a glance among the several figures standing or sitting. Why is she here too?